The Progressive National Party has gotten a head start on political training for their candidates as the public and politicians await the announcement of a date for the next general elections by Premier Honorable Charlene Cartwright Robinson. In the meantime, officials are holding a number of training sessions to prepare for the big day.
It's not enough just to have the skill sets. We now need to convince the public that we have the skill sets to run the country. And that's where effective communications comes in, being able to articulate your vision for the country.
Deputy Leader of the Progressive National Party, Honorable E.J. Saunders, says the party is still short 2 candidates, but the trainings have begun and are well underway. The sessions are divided into short seminars, which began with information on the ins and outs of the country's governing system.
The first seminar we had was on governance, and at that training we had the governor and the deputy governor and a number of other persons talking about how government operates and the functioning of government. Of governing. The second training that we had, which was last week, this was a communications training, and this one was on how Parliament works, how to speak in Parliament, protocol, and how you speak to the press, interviews, those sorts of things.
Saunders says his party aims to reinforce principles into their candidates that they will not only carry into the election process, but also into office if elected to serve.
Well, the goal is to keep having a number of seminars leading right up to the election. The idea is to have continuous training, and so to make all of the candidates as strong as possible when leading into election and after elections are over. Hopefully all of the candidates will be in Parliament, but the idea is that whoever makes it into Parliament, that they'll be strong, they'll be able to speak well in Parliament, that they'll be able to govern well, that we'll be ready from day one and we'll know how to effectively govern the country from day one in office.
The deputy leader says there is a common misconception across the board that he thought needed a good amount of emphasis, and that is understanding the difference between campaigning and governing.
I think people mix up the difference between campaigning and governing. And we get caught up in the campaigning portion. We think that the party that runs the best campaign is actually the party that's going to run the country best. Now that's a fallacy, because you can actually run a strong campaign but not be very good at governing. And so our goal is to ensure that our candidates can govern well, govern effectively. That's the most important thing for us.
Candidates will be sensitized to procedure and protocol in dealing with a number of matters. The deputy leader says this training seeks to cover all bases.
When the candidates are in Parliament, in the House of Assembly, when they're representing the Turks and Caicos abroad, when they're representing the Turks and Caicos, particularly in the UK, when we're pushing for things like maybe a new constitution, that we can do it effectively, that we can communicate effectively. And also that when we're in cabinet, and then if any one of us are ministers, that those ministers know exactly how government runs, and so they can be effective from day one.
Saunders says the training sessions will continue right up into elections and after if necessary, as the heads of his party are committed to providing their candidates with the support needed to be strong politicians.